Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Thursday, January 28th work session of the Penfield Planning Board. Due to the public health and safety concerns related to COVID-19, this meeting is being conducted remotely pursuant to the governor's executive orders, including Executive Order 202.1, which suspended certain provisions of the open meetings law. This meeting is being video recorded and is being broadcast live on the Town of Penfield's website, www.penfield.org, and on the Town of Penfield's Government Access Channel number 1303. And the meeting will also later be transcribed. Lori, would you please call the roll?
Sure. Hetzke,
Hetzke here.
Bastian,
Bastian here.
Knauer,
Knauer here.
Tidings,
Tidings here.
Burton,
Burton here.
Sangster,
Sangster here.
O'Connor,
O'Connor here.
Weissar,
Weissar here.
Gray here.
All right. We have meeting minutes from January 14th. Hopefully everybody's had an opportunity to review them.
Motion to accept.
Okay, we
Tidings.
I'll second.
moved and seconded, moved by Tidings, seconded by Bastian. Sorry, Bob, you were asleep at the switch.
Thank you.
Hetzke,
Hetzke, aye.
Bastian,
Bastian, aye.
Burton,
Burton, aye.
Knauer,
Knauer, aye.
Tidings.
Tidings, aye.
Okay. Doug, would you like to go through our agenda?
All right, so our first application, 85 Sovereign Drive. Like previous weeks, we haven't heard any updates or received any updates from the applicant or their engineer, so at this time, no action is required by the board. We'll just continue to take no
Continue
action
to
on it.
table it.
Our second item is 3090 Atlantic Avenue, the 5-lot subdivision on the corner of Jackson and Atlantic. Since our last meeting, we've continued to work on conditions in the draft of the approval resolution. Unfortunately, I'm sorry I didn't get that up earlier. We were still going through it, so it's on the Google Drive and it's in your drop now, but it was not in your drop on Friday, or the most updated one wasn't in the drop on Friday. We have also received revised plans from the engineer, Don Lewis, who is on the call with us here if you have any questions for him. Staff has been going through and reviewing those. At this time, staff is happy to see that many of the comments and concerns that were addressed by the board, both in previous hearings and work sessions, as well as the comments of the public, have been taken into consideration. They did a lot of work, or he did a lot of work on getting the grading working, expanded where the storm sewer is going to be to better catch any runoff from the yards, as well as move the topsoil pile that was going to be in the front of Lot 5 next to the neighbor's property to the backyard to make it less obtrusive to the neighbor.
Okay, so at this point, would you say staff, with the submissions and the responses that you've gotten, engineering department and everybody else satisfied?
Yes, we're satisfied at this point. Yeah.
Jim, how about you? I know I saw some back and forth on some of the conditions and some of the points. How are you feeling about this?
Yeah, I think they've been adequately addressed, AJ.
Okay, and Pete, you agree with that?
Yes, so that's what we had back and forth with on a couple of conditions, and I'm satisfied.
Okay.
So we'll start. We have a Part 2 AEF.
Well, I move to approve the AF.
I'll second.
Hetzke,
Hetzke, aye.
Bastian,
Bastian, aye.
Burton,
Burton, aye.
Knauer,
Knauer, aye.
Tidings.
Tidings, aye.
Okay.
Next, we'll entertain a motion for the
Yeah.
draft approval resolution.
I move to approve the drafting by the staff of the approval resolution.
I'll second.
Hetzke,
Hetzke, aye.
Bastian,
Bastian, aye.
Burton,
Burton, aye.
Canower,
Canower, aye.
Tidings.
Tidings, aye.
Okay, that's passed. Don, you got a project.
All right, Don, I'll follow up with you after tomorrow or early next week on the next steps.
Okay, I appreciate it. I really do. It's been a pleasure working with your board and your staff, believe me.
Thanks.
Well,
Take that as a
thank you.
compliment.
Thanks.
Okay,
Have a good, have a good evening.
thank you.
Okay, next.
All right, so we have a single action item. And I'll bring it up here on the screen for you guys. So it should be both on the screens down here as well as on the projector. Subdivision from 2003, Qualtro Station off of Embry. It is a series of landlocked parcels served by an HOA that provides access to all the lots. The owner of 16 and 20 Beechbrook owns both, or the owner of 16 Beechbrook also owns 20 Beechbrook Drive. Throughout their ownership, they have constructed some accessory structures like a play area, sandbox, things like that on what is now portions of Lot 8. At this time, they're looking and they're interested in selling off Lot 8. So they're looking to shift the lot line from Lot 7 and Lot 8 over about 65 feet to convey about a third of an acre to Lot 7. Staff has gone through and reviewed. Lot 8 is still a buildable lot, even with all the setbacks. And it's still a lot that complies with our zoning code.
Are there any variances required?
There are no variances required.
Okay.
The only back and forth we've significantly had with the surveyor on the project is in regards, because this is a landlocked property, things like utilities, access, and that is all provided for through easements that allows each of the neighbors to go across their neighbor's property to access for the water, for sewers and things like that. The surveyor and their engineering firm filed an easement to, so they had an easement that goes to the existing property line that covers gas, sewer, telephone, cable, access for the driveway through the property, comes up to the existing property line. Since they are now shifting the property line over approximately 65 feet, those easements are going to be 65 feet short of the new property line. Staff has gone back and forth with their engineer on requesting that they file additional easements to essentially provide for that access on the area of the lot that's no longer going to be covered, because they're not proposing to extend any of the utilities to the new lot line. Whoever purchases Lot 8, it'll be their responsibility. It's staff's opinion that while the HOA document covers a lot of the, what the rights each homeowner has when it comes to access and provisions for that and how things should go and proceed, that it does not provide enough legal protection should a disagreement arise between the owner of Lot 7 and Lot 8 on getting access for the driveway or extending the utilities to provide them the gas, sewer, and electric they'll need for whatever home they build. They did provide us an easement for RG&E, Spectrum, and Frontier. So they now have an easement across this section for those utilities, but they have not provided anything that would allow for sanitary sewer access, driveway or ingress and egress access, or Monroe County Water Authority. They have stated they believe the HOA document covers that and that they see no necessity in writing another easement or having an easement that covers that section. They believe the HOA document adequately provides that access. It's up to the board, on the board's discretion. Staff isn't comfortable with the way they've interpreted it. We did provide the HOA document and a copy of the map to Pete for his review and for his firm's review of the conditions and how it could play out.
Yeah, table it then.
Unfortunately, I don't have Brian on the call with us here, otherwise he'd be here to answer questions for you guys.
Just table it.
Hey, Doug,
Yes.
so the water authority would never approve this without those easements anyhow.
Right. Yes.
So they did provide a letter from their attorney essentially stating that they believe that through the
Yeah,
HOA.
but you want to have a letter
Yeah.
from the water authority attorney, not from.
Yes. Yeah, we haven't received anything from the water authority to that effect.
And the town would want its easement to be extended also for the sanitary. So, I mean, I think you ought to
Yeah.
condition, if you were to approve it, you ought to condition it on extending the easements by the extra 65 feet to the new property line.
Agreed.
I mean, do we want to approve with conditions, or do we want to just wait until we see the easements and then grant approval? Or is it a chicken and egg thing that, they don't want to spend the funds getting the easements if they're not going to get approval? Is it, I mean, Pete, how do you feel about that? Would you prefer to see the easements prior to an approval resolution, or should we, I mean, we can be patient. We don't have to do anything right now. We can wait till the easements come in and then,
I think, haven't we in some cases where we've required easements, haven't we said, condition of approval is that you get the easements and then, they get it approved, but then it doesn't get signed until they've got the easements, right?
Yeah, and in
Then
many
have you
other,
done it
we
before?
have done that in other cases, especially, in subdivisions and things like that, when they come in for approval, we usually, the project gets approved and we work with them to get the necessary easements. They'll be spelled out both in the resolution, and then work on getting that with them to get those filed after the fact. It
And
could
then you
be
wouldn't file a
something,
map until you wouldn't sign the map until you've got the easements.
until we
Yeah.
get the easements.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Isn't that, I mean, that's my understanding of how you normally would do it.
yeah, yes.
Or just table it.
All right. Is everybody,
I say table.
you say table it?
I'm not comfortable going forward.
Okay.
If it's similar to what we've done with other projects, I don't see the risk as long as that's a condition in
So
the resolution.
to use a recent example, 3090, which you guys just moved
Yep.
to approve, we don't have their storm sewer easement yet. They just show it on the map. It'll be something that will work with them in the post-approval, what we call the pre-Mylar phase, before they have signed documents and signed plans. We'll work on getting that storm sewer easement, the exact language surveyed out and written and sent to the county for filing prior to the Mylars coming in to be signed. So in a normal, larger subdivision or larger project phase, this is something that, easements are usually something we file in the pre-Mylar phase, post-approval, but prior to signing any of the maps.
Do you have it shown on the maps typically though, Doug, beforehand? Because in this case, it's not.
Yes, so usually they have it shown on the maps and it'll say something like proposed easement to the town of Penfield for storm sewer or something like that, or proposed easement to the town of Penfield for sidewalks, or proposed 7-foot sidewalk easement, something like that, will be noted on the plans. In this case, they don't show that, they only show you the
Utility and
utility and
access
access
easement.
easement, which is the easement they filed for RG&E, Spectrum, and Frontier access.
So, I mean, that's a matter of changing the map. Jim, what's your opinion on it?
Yeah, I think we need a map amendment to be resubmitted before we move forward, and then at that point, we could state the conditions and, you know, you still hold control over it before you sign off for final,
I
right?
agree.
Okay, good with that?
I'm in agreement.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
Okay.
I don't think we need to make any,
Yeah, I've not, Pete,
we
is
don't
there a
have to move anything,
specific
do we, Pete?
movement that we have to do for an action item? It's
Well,
not, this is not a situation we usually run into with an action item, but,
No. No, but it's also not
Yeah.
a normal action item because of this
yes. It's a very unique
singular issue.
subdivision with unique set of circumstances.
Yeah, so normally if it was not an action item, it was a regular item, you would have, I mean, you would table it for submission of the proper, you know, the redrawing of the map. You know, as long as you communicate that back to the applicant.
Yeah, and I'll be in contact with the applicant tomorrow with the board's decision and the next steps for them.
So do
they
we
can
want,
get
I mean,
back.
should we
Would
make a
tabling it be
motion
appropriate,
to
or-
just notify the applicant of our concerns?
I think
Or-
you could table it.
Okay, or
and
do
then,
something like
you know, with
concerns
noted what
noted, I
you're
think.
Waiting for.
I'll move the table.
I'll
Second.
We'll give that to Canower, finally.
He's been all quiet over there.
Right. Okay.
Hetzke,
Hetzke, aye.
Bastian,
Bastian, aye.
Burton,
Aye.
Canower,
Canower, aye.
Tidings.
Tidings, aye.
Okay. We have direction.
Okay, I'll reach out to their engineer tomorrow and see if we can get something for the next meeting, in time for the next meeting.
Yeah, sounds good. It's, we just want to do things by the book and
Yeah,
it's got to be done the right way.
Right.
all right. With
Anything
that,
else?
I don't have anything else for the board at this time.
Anybody else have any old business, new business? Nope. Okay, with that, thanks everybody for coming. Thank you everybody out in cyberspace for watching.
Anybody calls or anything?
And we will adjourn this meeting. Have a good night.